And so now they've really got to create a lot more paper. And they're going to do that until the system says to the lender, who supposedly is keeping the system floating, if you may, that we're not going to borrow anymore. We're just not going to do it.
Okay,
and
Bob.
when that happens, it'll collapse.
Now, Bob, I got two questions. From all the evidence I've seen and the Inside Bilderberg info and even their public statements, the Financial Times admitting 2 years ago that they were going to use this to consolidate power, it is engineered. And they've still shut down liquidity and loans and credit to the public and Main Street, and it appears they're only massing it into themselves while it still has some fiat value with people's perception, buying up real assets and literally war chesting for war physically with classic tyranny. And so they're just buying time to get their system in place. So, A, do you agree that they've engineered it, or you're saying that they've lost control? And then, B, you've been saying 2 to 3 years for the last year. Are you revising it, saying it looks like it's accelerating?
No, I don't think it's accelerating. And they're still in the same mode, trying to do the same thing. They originally engineered it. It did get out of their control because I don't think that they thought they would not be able to get rid of all of the CDOs and SIVs they have, which are bonds containing mortgages. That's really what they get stuck with. And they had sold a lot of it, most of it in Europe, and they get stuck with it. And at the same time, the loans which are within that structure of those bonds have gone down in value because, our average person has a value in his home of $250,000 and owes $310,000.
But a lot of people, millions a month are losing their jobs or getting pay cuts. I mean, it's a depression for a lot of people out there. Let's come back and talk about how you see this unfolding. Then we're going to go to phone calls from Gary, Matt, Barry, Brian, Kim, and others. We're talking to Bob Chapman, the internationalforecaster.com. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. Your phone calls are coming up here in just a few minutes with Bob Chapman. Really appreciate him joining us once a week. Before we go back to Bob and Gary, Matt, Barry, Brian, Kim, many others that are patiently holding, so you can ask your questions of Bob, who's one of the most accurate financial forecasters I've seen. So we're honored to have him. I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, and that's survivalistseeds.com. Grow your own healthy food for just 4 pennies a pound and break free of the New World Order. These are heirloom seeds, meaning they're not even hybrid, folks. These are ancient seed varieties, really high quality. This family business buys in massive bulk and passes those huge discounts on to the listeners of this show. 15,000 heirloom seeds will provide your family with 7 years of healthy food. Stop buying and eating New World Order food. Grow your own healthy food in your backyard. That's 15,000 heirloom seeds for $129. That's real food insurance for the difficult times we are experiencing already. Heirloom seeds are the original varieties, non-GMO, non-hybrid. All these seeds date back over a century. Their Mayflower bean came over on the Mayflower ship itself. Oh, it's some of my ancestors. Now survivalistseeds.com wants you to become one of their heirloom seed farmers, and you can sell them back to them, your saved seeds, year after year, because demand is skyrocketing for the rare heirloom seeds. Yeah, the big Monsanto and others have bought up the vast majority of heirloom seed companies and then are stopping the sale of them and then hoarding them in underground bunkers. You can pull that up. Just Google Seed Arc. You'll also get a DVD teaching you how to sell your vegetable produce to restaurants, delis, and farmers markets. Slaves hesitate, patriots take action. Survivalistseeds.com, a family business that is helping the truth movement prepared. If you can't feed your family, folks, the FEMA camps will. And buy guns, buy gold, buy silver, buy water filters, and start growing a family victory garden because regardless of what happens, it's a good position to be in just to start becoming self-sufficient. Also, I want to tell you about AcolaBlue.com, the fine folks with their atmospheric water generators. It just looks like a water cooler without the water bottle on top. Grabs it out of the air. And it condensates 7.5 gallons a day. Even in the driest climates, it gives you over 3 gallons a day with their smaller units. They have big ones. And they have solar power systems, you name it, also on the site. EcoloBlue.com, ECOLO Blue.com. And then after it grabs it out of the air, it goes through an activated carbon filter, a silver-impregnated carbon filter, reverse osmosis system, the taste and color odor removal filter, and is stored in the tank illuminated by an antibacterial fungal UV light. 866-585-4044, 866-585-4044, EcoloBlue.com. Okay, let's go back to Bob Chapman. Bob, I got a lot of questions here, and I know the listeners do as well. How do you see, I mean, I ask you this every week when you're on, but you know, you always give us different nuanced answers. How do you, I mean, I see it accelerating. I mean, this is, I know you didn't expect to see them all over TV saying we're going into a depression and now have The Economist out saying that. But I guess as bad as it is now, you're saying in the next 2 years it's just going to intensify. What will it physically look like on the streets? And then that's A. B, and we're going to calls. How will this equation work? This isn't some Soviet revolution, Bolshevik revolution, where the people are disarmed and the dirtbag parasites can have their way. This isn't some Nazi revolution where they're disarmed and can have their way. This isn't some Maoist revolution where the people are disarmed. I mean, you've got 140 million gun owners. It's higher than that. And millions of them want to start shooting. I don't want that to happen, folks, but the globalists are going to push. How is that going to work? I mean, I see this just, and they've got the cops all hyped up and out of their minds, you know, thinking they're doing a good job bringing in tyranny, revenue generating off the public that can't pay anymore. So A, how is this going to unfold? And B, how do you see it starting and blowing up or not?
Well, the major impetus will be unemployment, and those figures are much higher than what we're being given. And as we go into this year, the stimulus package, which they will get as soon as it's put before Congress, probably in late January, that'll start to go into gear probably in March and April. And that'll put things off for 6 months, maybe as long as a year. Often the respect that those who have laid off will go to work for the federal government in one form or another, either through one of the corporations that's dealing in the payoff to them from the federal government or the federal government itself. But once that money runs out, the only alternative they have is to create another $1 trillion to do it again because it's not working. And I think at that stage, sometime later this year, you're going to start to see demonstrations which I think could become violent.
Please continue breaking that down. What's the next step after that?
Well, the next step after that is the things that you talk about so well, and that is the police acting in behalf of the federal government, not your local police force, not your state police force or your county. The orders will come down, this is what you're going to do, and you're going to go out and pick up this list of people. And I think that will be the beginning. It'll start off with the threatening, and if you don't keep your mouth shut and stop doing what you're doing, we're going to come and bring charges against you because you're a borderline terrorist. And of course, those who don't shut up will either have to hide and do what they do under the cover of darkness, or they'll go to an internment camp. And that's how the thing will evolve. And once that starts to happen, there'll be a certain segment of the population who will shut up and take orders and do as they're told. What that segment will be, it'll probably be half of them. And the other half will become more aggressive, perhaps in challenging government. If there's not enough food to go around or places to live in, I think people are going to start doing what is normally considered criminal activity, and that would be going and taking food and in other things from companies and government as well.
But that's the next issue. Again, proving this was premeditated, not just 2.5 years ago, getting the intel out of Bilderberg that they were going to implode the subprime mortgage by design to cause a global currency crisis, that they would then come in and offer the world government as the solution. That now is happening. Openly announcing world government will save you when the very same banking families have engineered this, and building the FEMA camps the last 7 years, now announcing the Army War College coming out and saying, yes, we are prepared to engage the American people. They're not even saying it's for al-Qaeda anymore. They're having to admit to the troops, okay, get ready to go up against the people. Though they still put out another brand of propaganda, on Times Square and big events. Oh, look, the troops are here to protect you from al-Qaeda. But to their own people and in the newspaper. I mean, I have an article here out of mainstream news where they're calling for troops on the streets and saying how great all this is, out of the Albuquerque newspaper. So, again, my point is they clearly have been preparing for this for decades. Is it that they knew their Ponzi scheme would implode and then they would offer the new solution?